Today we are going to solve chemistry specimen paper 2 year 2024 to 25. Let's start. Question number 1. A gaseous substance is slowly cooled and the temperature recorded every second. The results are shown on the graph. Here you can see this is called cooling curve and it is opposite to the heating curve. You can see this A. This starts from gas and then goes to the liquid and then to the solid. So in this cooling curve, they are asking at which point is the substance solid. So as you can see, the liquid is changing into solid at this point D. Freezing is happening over there. So the correct answer will be D. Question number 2. A gas is released at point Q in the apparatus shown. This is point Q and here they have shown damp universal indicator paper. Which gas changes the color of the damp universal indicator paper most quickly? Most quickly means faster diffusion. Faster diffusion means lower molecular mass. You can see hydrogen is having the lowest molecular mass here too, but hydrogen does not affect universal indicator paper. We have to choose other options. Ammonia, yes, it does change. It's an alkaline gas, so it will have effect on universal indicator paper. Carbon dioxide also, chlorine also. The lowest molecular mass is of ammonia, so ammonia will be the right answer. Question number 3. Which statement describes the bonding in sodium chloride? Sodium chloride is ionic compound. Answer option A, a shared pair of electrons. It's wrong in the starting because it's showing covalent bond and sodium chloride is an ionic compound. A strong force of attraction between oppositely charged ions looks correct. A strong force of attraction between two molecules, wrong, it does not have molecule. It's an ionic compound. A weak force of attraction, wrong, it's a strong electrostatic force of attraction. So option B is the right answer. Question number 4. The lead in a pencil is made of mixture of graphite and clay. When the percentage of graphite is increased, the pencil moves across the paper more easily. As you know, graphite is very good lubricant. That's the reason. Let's go to the options. Graphite has a high melting point. It's wrong reason here. Graphite is a form of carbon. No, it's not a proper reason for this. It's a lubricant. Yes, it's a lubricant, slimy. That's why it can move across the paper very easily. That's the right answer. Question number 5. Which statement about metals is not correct? They conduct electricity because delocalized electrons can move throughout the metal, correct? They consist of layers of atoms that can slide over each other, correct? They have a giant lattice of oppositely charged ions. No, they don't have oppositely charged ions in a sea of delocalized electrons. They have a giant lattice of positive ions in a sea of delocalized electrons. Exactly, this is the structure of metals. Here I have drawn for you to understand. Lattice of positive ions surrounded by sea of delocalized electrons. So answer will be C. Question number 6. Aqueous iron 3 sulfate and aqueous sodium hydroxide react to give a precipitate of iron 3 hydroxide and a solution of sodium sulfate. What is the balance symbol equation for this reaction? Before choosing the right option, you have to know the correct formula of iron 3 sulfate and aqueous sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is NaOH. Iron sulfate is Fe2SO4 thrice because it's iron 3 sulfate. So here I have shown you the charges of iron and sulfate. By crossover you will get the formula Fe2SO4 thrice. Sodium hydroxide, when they react together they make sodium sulfate Na2SO4 plus FeOH thrice because this is iron 3, so it will make iron 3 hydroxide. After that you will go for balancing. You can see here in the first option they have given Fe2 and here Fe wrong. In the second option they have given here 3 sodium and 6 sodium wrong. Option C is showing Fe2, Fe is 2. Sulfate is 3 times, sulfate is 3 times. Sodium is 6, sodium is 6. So this is the balanced equation, option C. Question number 7. Which information is needed to calculate the relative atomic mass of element? Number A. The total number of protons and neutrons in the most abundant isotope. The nucleon number and the total number of isotopes. The mass number and abundance of each of its isotope. The atomic number and abundance of each of its isotope. First of all, we consider mass number or nucleon number. We don't consider atomic number, so cancel option D already. Here you can see when we calculate for chlorine the AR or relative atomic mass, we consider their atomic masses and multiply with their abundance. Similarly we do for chlorine 37 and then we divide by 100 finally. It means that we have to know the mass number and relative abundance of every isotope or each of its isotope. That's the right answer, option C. Question number 8. The equation for reaction between sodium carbonate and excess dilute HCl is shown. When 26.5 gram of sodium carbonate reacts with excess dilute HCl, what is the maximum volume of carbon dioxide produced? I always tell you students that whenever you are given an information, here they have given you the mass of a reactant, just change it to the mole and then you will go to the moles ratio and later we will see what we are going to do. Number of moles equal to mass divided by molar mass of sodium carbonate. Here we calculated the mass, molar mass of sodium carbonate, and then we did number of moles equal to mass divided by molar mass. We get the number of moles of sodium carbonate. After that, check the ratio of sodium carbonate and carbon dioxide because they are asking about carbon dioxide volume. The molar ratio is same, 1:1. Same moles of carbon dioxide will be applied in the equation. The formula of volume is number of moles times 24 cubic decimeters, which is the molar volume at RTP. Number of moles are same, so multiply 0.25 times 24, you will get 6 cubic decimeters. That's the right answer. Question 9 is again from stoichiometry. A volumetric pipette is used to measure 25 cubic centimeters of 2 molar decimeters, 2 mole per cubic decimeters concentration of aqueous sodium hydroxide into a conical flask. A burette is filled with dilute HCl, sulfuric acid. They have given you equation. The reaction requires 50 cubic centimeters of dilute sulfuric acid to reach the end point. What is the concentration of dilute sulfuric acid in mole per cubic decimeters? You have to find out concentration. You must know the formula of finding concentration. That is number of moles equal to volume multiply concentration. I will show you in the triangle. This is the formula, number of moles equal to volume multiply by concentration. Changing into cubic decimeters, divide by 1000 times concentration, that is given 2 mole per cubic decimeters. We will get 0.05 moles. Then we will check the ratio of sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. That's 2:1. It means 0.05 moles will make 0.025 moles because 2 moles are making 1 mole, so we will half them. And the question is asking about concentration of dilute sulfuric acid. We will find out concentration by using the same equation, moles divided by volume. Moles we just worked out here. We will divide by the volume. Volume is given there, divide by 1000 to change it to cubic decimeters, and we will get the answer 0.50 mole per cubic decimeters concentration. Question number 10. The diagram shows a circuit used to electrolyze aqueous copper to sulfate. Which arrow indicates the movement of copper ions in electrolyte? and of the electrons in external circuit. Copper ions are positive ions, so they will be attracted to cathode. So this arrow is showing you the direction of copper ions. And electrons move from negative terminal towards cathode, from positive and anode to positive terminal. So it means arrow 3 is showing you electrons direction. So answer will be option C. Copper ions are shown by arrow 2 and electrons are shown by arrow 3. Question number 11. Which row shows the waste products released from the exhaust of vehicle powered using hydrogen oxygen fuel cell? Hydrogen fuel cell produces only water as a product and there is no other side product. Equation is 2H2 plus O2 makes 2H2O, that's water. So option D will be the right answer. Question number 12. Which diagram is correctly labeled reaction pathway diagram for endothermic reaction? Endothermic reaction is the one in which the heat energy is taken in. The energy is going from of the reactants is lower and products is higher. That's why options C and D are cancelled. In option A, you can see this arrow is giving you activation energy. That's the correct one, because starting from the reactants till the peak is activation energy, minimum energy required to start a chemical reaction. And the difference in the energy of reactants and products is called overall energy change or enthalpy change, delta H. So option A is the correct answer, because here they are showing you the wrong information here. It must be activation energy and this must be enthalpy change or overall energy change. Option A is the correct answer. Question 13. Which changes are physical changes? Melting ice to form water, melting, boiling, condensation, freezing, they are all physical changes. Burning hydrogen to form water, that is a chemical change. Adding sodium to water, it makes sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas, which is highly exothermic reaction, and it's a chemical change. Boiling water to steam, it's also physical change. So it will be option B, 1 and 4. Question number 14. The diagram shows an experiment to measure the rate of chemical reaction. Metal with dilutes HCl. Which change decreases the rate of reaction? Adding water to the flask. When you add water to the flask, it will dilute the reaction mixture. Heating the flask during the reaction, it will increase the rate of reaction. Using more concentrated acid also increases the chemical reaction. Powdered metal, because it has larger surface area, so rate of reaction will be faster. Option A is diluting the concentration or decreasing the concentration, so of course the rate of reaction will be decreased. Option A is the right answer. Question number 15. Which row describes the effect of increasing concentration and increasing temperature on the collisions between reacting particles? Increasing concentration increases the collision per second. Increasing temperature also affects the kinetic energy of particles, so they will have more collision energy, more collisions per second and more collision with sufficient energy to react. Temperature is connected with energy, but other factors like concentration, surface area, they don't affect the energy of particles. So increasing concentration only increases collision per second, and increasing temperature, it gives rise to more collisions per second and also more collisions with sufficient energy to react. Option B will be the correct answer. Thank you so much. If you have any question, you can ask by giving the comment on the video. Keep watching and share with your friends. Goodbye and good luck for your exam.